Welcome, my wonderful audience. You've tuned in once again to LAJUPOG TV, where we bring you the hottest news and most pressing issues straight from the heart of Nigeria. Today, we're diving deep into the ongoing economic hardship protests sweeping across the nation. As many of you may know, this protest has reached a boiling point, fueled by allegations against the Nigerian government for maladministration, political negligence, and the sharing disconnect between the leaders and the people. These issues have exacerbated the situation, resulting in tragic losses of life and numerous injuries. But hold on. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty details, we need your support. If you're watching this video for the first time, don't forget to like, comment, and share. Your engagement helps us reach more people and it keeps you informed about the latest update. And of course, hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our upcoming.
Welcome to LAJUPOG TV show.
The home of crime scene.
Is happening in the street again.
The center of political news, celebrity gossip, religious gossip, and happiness in the society.
Join us, the voice of Africa.
Their thoughts and perspective on the current protests in the country. Among them is Seun Okusanya, a prominent perception manager. Okusanya has highlighted the significant issue with the current administration led by President Tinubu. He stated that the government fundamentally lacks the principle of effective communication, which he considers to be a primary key to any successful administration. Okusanya emphasized that the election campaign, the government made numerous promises to the citizens of Nigeria, fostering a sense of trust and hope. These promises were seen as a commitment to addressing the needs and concerns of the people. However, this trust has been severely undermined by the government's slow and inadequate response to the concern raised by the protesters. Okusanya argues that the promises made to the people are now in jeopardy because the administration has not been able to address this
when
issue.
I was a kid, there was a hospital near my house. When they take me there, whenever I have malaria, they're going to give me injection, I'll just run away. And they'll drag me back, I'll run away again, then they'll finally hold me and they'll give me the injection. After 2 days, after the pain, I'll now be happy because I'll be playing around, I'll have recovered. So sometimes for you, things to get better, you have to get tough. It's a test and it's from God. But you see, God is testing people, and it's not just in Nigeria. So God in America, there's the hand of God in all of this. There's the hand of God in everything. Even in the United States, even the hardship, all the hardship, all the president, anything you go through, the president of the Bible was divine. What is happening is also, even in the United States, the highest level of inflation in the United States this year, it's never happened like that in the US before. The whole world is like, I don't know what's going on. I think God is really testing us, And I'll tell you this, we have to pass the test. When I see people in looting and all of that, all in the name of protest, I say to myself that the person you are looting, you don't know what he has gone through to even open the shop.
I would like to respond to a few things Mr. Jamiu Abiola has said, and to remind Nigerians that in 2019, Mr. Jamiu Abiola told Nigerians that the then Buhari represented the vision of his father, and in fact told Nigerians to vote. He told Nigerians in 2019.
Put our attention into some technical issues. Here, this is very critical for those who have blamed the Tinubu government about the manner in which they have handled things. And those who will say the Tinubu government are really making effort. They have done quite a lot in 1 year. The question you should be asking is, what are those things that they have done? How come people don't appreciate it? But those who will say it's a communication problem. Well, tonight, let's get some perspective and get a professional touch on explaining to us what the problems are and perhaps the solution. I'm being joined by a perception manager, an expert, Mr. Yomi Badejo Okusanya, who is the lead partner at the CMC Connect. Thank you so much indeed, Mr. Okusanya, and it's good to see you again.
Thank you, Seun.
I appreciate it.
Quite a while.
Thank you, it's been a while. From your own point of view, perception is what you have done all your life. You know how to mold perception, manage perception, and even create narratives. But for this government, over the last 1 year, what would you say, or what have you identified as a professional in that sector is a major problem?
Okay, thank you, Seun. Before coming here, I got a list of things that the administration has done. Let me read some of them. Minimum wage, import duties suspended on food items, import duties suspended on pharmaceutical raw materials, 30,000 petrol-powered commercial vehicles, 20,000 students of tertiary institutions have already been covered in student loans, 50,000 presidential grant for 600,000 people, 75 billion to be disbursed in 100,000 for small and medium scale enterprise, 10 billion, 110 billion approved for disbursement for youth investment, consumer credit scheme, over 570 billion released for state governors for the expansion of livelihood support. And there's a whole lot,
long
3
list.
pages of what this administration
and these are policy oriented, and these are also active government decisions or real in the real sector, things that have been done that we can see on the ground.
Or things that are in the pipeline. So you begin to ask yourself, where is the lacuna? Where is the dissonance? Why are people out on the streets? And I've heard a lot of your guests talk about the issue of communication all day and saying that the communication is not there. I think it's something that needs to be examined.
So from what you have seen, a lot of movement, a lot of activity, but there seems not to be the disconnect is the communication, the gap between the people and the government.
That's right.
Is that right?
That's right. When the Ahmed Bola Tinubu administration came up, my firm carried out a survey, and most people said they were going in the right direction. And if you also find out what from most people you've spoken to, they said, yeah, we understand the issues, because any of the contestants then who will win or who would have won the presidential election, they would have had to go through this path. The question again is then, why this huge disconnect? Why are the people not believing to the extent that they can go out?
So I need to ask you, you are the expert. Why?
Well, one, there's a trust deficit. And that trust deficit is not from this government alone. It's been from way past.
It's a systemic problem.
It's a systemic problem.
That over people time, don't believe in their government.
Yes, they don't believe in the government anymore. Let's talk about what reputation is. Reputation, like we said, is what people believe who you are. And that your reputation is based on trust. You have invited me because you trust that I'll be able to contribute to the subject matter. I have come here because I believe that you're a credible channel. So there's trust involved in everything you do. There's trust involved. So right now, I think the government of the day did not start with that trust. They did not start by building that trust on which some of these programs can run. I say things, for example, what the administration says is that it's about renewed hope. Is renewed hope a tangible or an intangible? It is, of course, an intangible, but there's a way you can convert hope into a tangible that people can look forward to. And how do you do that? You give them a roadmap of where we're going. You give them a destination for them to look at. You give them a place where they can arrive at. And I think that that's where the challenge, that's where the disconnect has been. The government, and some people may crucify me for this, they mean well from what I've seen. I don't believe that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu would sit in his house or in his room or in the presidential villa and would deliberately like to inflict suffering on the people. But the path to getting to where there's a solution or to getting to where that promised land is, has not been as well communicated.
I mean, you've been on the ground for quite a while, and you've run your agency in Lagos, where Governor Bola Tinubu of in 1999 and 2007 elsewhere as the governor. So you understand a reputation, because you mentioned the issue of reputation.
That's right.
So reputation is not something that happens today and now.
No,
it's something that you have built over the years.
That's right.
Now, so if you describe Bola Tinubu, you will say it's one man that has a reputation of excellence. Is that right? Is that right?
Well, yes.
You will say that is a governor that stands out amongst his colleagues and his peers when he was governor.
Class of 1999.
And you will probably say he's a governor that also knows what he knows his audience, isn't it?
That's right.
And that in performance, maybe he has been able to put the name of Lagos State quite on the global map as the fourth largest economy on the continent.
That's right.
So he has a reputation.
That's right.
Is the reputation in danger at the moment?
Definitely. Definitely.
What is putting it in most danger right now?
Well, because the people are not matching the results, or let me put it like this, the performance or the promise with what they're experiencing at the moment. Let me tell you something. You can postpone your rent, paying your rent. You can postpone paying your children's school fees. You can postpone paying salaries, but you cannot postpone hunger. You cannot postpone hunger. When it comes, it comes. So a lot of people right now are reacting, and what they're thinking is that, yes, these policies on the long run may turn out right, but right now we're hungry. And a hungry man, they say, is an angry man. And therefore, what can we do immediately to alleviate the problem? There's only one antidote for hunger, is food. If there's no food, you can't preach to the person.
Hope is intangible.
Hope is intangible. You can't give the person hope.
You have to
when there's hunger. It's food. There's only one.
Even if you do 60-day fasting, you have to break.
At the end of the day, when you want to break, you break with food. You don't break with, you can pray, but you break with food. So the truth of the matter here is that, yes, so let me give you an example of what I'm talking about now. So in terms of belief, the peoples are saying our hopes have been dashed over a period of time. Every time the government, and I'm not saying just this government, has been telling us, tighten your belt, tighten your belt. And at the end of the day, we don't seem to have the end of the tunnel. And you asked the governor of Kaduna State a question just right now. When communication, what you say is, let me put it like this, what you say is perhaps maybe less than 20 or 30, 20-something% of your entire communication. It is what you do that speaks a lot more volumes. So, are you matching your walk with your talk? Which would then make people believe in you that this is where we're going. If we, the citizen, are asked to tighten our belt, the government must also demonstrate. Because the first thing the government must do right now is reconnect with the citizens of this country. So
is profligacy is it part of the problem?
The people don't see that the government are tightening their belts. Because when you see some of the things that are happening, when you see some of the things, I'm not a politician, I'm just a communication.
And that's a disaster, isn't it?
It is sending the wrong signals.
Because there are those who will say, do what I do, don't do what I say.
Yes. So if you're...
And in government, you've got to do what you say and what you do.
Yes.
You've got to make people do what you do. And what in the Diagbo and the Buhari era, there are those who will say some of those values that government, the military government,
that's right.
I see very much. You see people staying on the queues.
That's right.
It became a culture. You see people marching in and out of classrooms. Kids. These are some of the things that became some part of our nature as a people. And if you are thinking about the right things to be done and right things to help this government, how important is perception, though?
It's very important. In fact, I think that the challenge that the administration has is that immediately the president took or made those statements, and on May 29, 2020, last year, May 29th, when 2023, I beg your pardon. I think that the biggest thing they ought to have invested in is communication. Because many people predicted that this day will come. If there is no way where the hopes, or the hope, I beg your pardon, the belief of the people can be managed, it will come to where we are today. And that's why we're there. So for me, I think that with all what this government has listed as its achievement, a proactive approach would have been a lot better than the reactive which we're experiencing now.
I mean, you've been in this sector, so you know. Bola Tinubu should be the last person that should have a communication problem. He's a media owner. And there are those who will say, being a governor of Lagos State is a hub of communication and the media. And there are those who will say, look, he understood the language of communication and the media when he was there. He was friends of a lot of journalists. There are a lot of journalists who work in his government. Dele Alake is an example. You have the Kaude Fayemis of this world. You have the leader of the Senate who also worked. There are a lot of people who practice journalism that worked with Bola Tinubu. A Sunday Daddy is that those who have worked with him. He's supposed to be the last man to have a communication problem. But did he get it wrong in the setting up, or where do you think the problem started from?
First and foremost, there's a dissonance. And what I mean is that I see a lot of people come up and they are not speaking the same language. I gave an example earlier on this morning, and I gave an example of what happened to many years ago when Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola was governor of Lagos State. And I went to an event and he spoke at that event on a Monday. And then on a Thursday, one of his commissioners spoke at another event that I was. Take away the voice, take away the person, they spoke in the same manner. So that's number one. There must be unity of purpose. And there's something I mentioned earlier on today. I talked about there's a politics of communication, and then there's a communication of politics. A lot of what is happening is the politics of communication rather than the communication of politics. So you have a situation whereby there are discordant tunes. And then secondly, communication is a two-way process. And I think that as much as the government is speaking, they should also listen and take it in. I wonder how much of that listening is going on. Maybe through surveys, maybe through research, maybe feedback, and so on and so forth. Number three, I find out that a lot of people who come, especially on media channels like yours, they tend to be talking down at the citizens. And I believe that that is not right. I think that they should engage with the citizen. So the politics of communication tendency is that you are rewarding patronage, and therefore people are in a scramble to show that they're the ones who are doing the best for their principle. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to the communication of politics, the entire team comes together. And when I mean the entire team, I'm not just talking about those who are involved with the communication role, but the entire team come together and they are schooled, so to speak, on what they take out there and how they would communicate with the citizenry. Because the biggest thing they require is to engage with the citizens and bring them on board. There's something that is lacking here. It's called ownership. And you find out that most citizens are not in ownership. No, that's not true. A lot of citizens may not be in ownership of this administration in the sense that they believe in what the administration is doing, and through the challenges that we're going, they can work. They can own it. They can say, okay, let's go through this period. Yeah. We don't mind. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's forgo this. Let's forgo that. So that the administration, you need to paint a vivid picture of where we are going. And those pictures have to be accompanied with strong timelines.
So, Mr. Kusaya, now that I got you, difficult to get you on this kind of set, but now that I have the privilege, and as a very good friend, and as a patriot, I'd like you to do a job for us, for free.
Yes.
We're at that point that we need to fix our country. Yes. But if the highest office in the land has this kind of perception and communication problem, there is a way out, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
We're not doomed.
No,
anyways.
No.
We still can fix things.
No.
All right, let's get a free consultancy from you.
Okay.
And I imagine those in the presidency, and in fact, maybe the president might be watching us tonight.
Okay, first and foremost.
Structurally and ideologically, there needs to be a reshaping, isn't it?
That's right.
What should they do immediately?
Press a reset.
How?
One, every crisis is an opportunity. So if there's no crisis, there's no opportunity. This is an opportunity for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to reset his administration. One, when you're in a crisis, bring out your gun. this is a big crisis. Bring out your biggest gun. And that's President Tinubu. If he comes out and he speaks, I am sure that people, it would, like a balloon, some air will be deflated from it. Number two, there are some things that the people have asked for, those who are protesting. Truth of the matter is that you must exchange something. You must meet them at a certain level. You cannot tell them, or it will be difficult, let me not put it like this, it's difficult for you to tell them to get off the street when they haven't gotten anything. Give them something, trade something. Recently, we had the issue with labor, and government said, oh, this is the amount we want to pay. Labor said, this is the amount we want. There was a concession, and at the end of the day, there was an agreement because labor got something. Immediately, I think President Bola Tinubu must seize this narrative. He must seize the moment, and he can do that by, one, coming out, addressing the citizens. 2 days now, there's been protests. Let him address the citizens. One, not through anybody. Let him do that. Number two, let him grant some concessions. Because at the end of the day, even when you want to appeal to the protesters, sheath your swords. You can say, okay, this is what I have given you. This is what you have. This other one would look into it. He's a master negotiator, and I'm sure he can do that. He did that with labor, and I'm sure he can do that with the people here, with the protesters. Get them off the street. First and foremost, let us sit down at a table. Immediately, these are the things. If we look at what happened in Kenya, the first thing that the President Ruto did was that he canceled the bill. He first said he suspended it, and then he said outright, I'm not even going to address it. So that brought some respite.
Yeah. Let me pause you.
Now, the question is, do we really have to go this far to get our government attention? We, the citizens, are the ones who put them in power through our vote and trust. Even if they have accomplished things that may not be immediately visible to us, there are ways for them to showcase their work and keep us informed. Why they silent? Why treat us as if we are fools? It seems they see us as a mere tools to fill their vessels of power, rather than as the people they are meant to serve. Our frustration is not unfounded. Effective communication is crucial in government, not only to maintain trust, but also to foster a sense of unity and shared purpose. When leaders fail to communicate openly and honestly, it creates a disconnect that can lead to unrest and dissatisfaction. We've seen this play out in the recent protests, where the lack of direct engagement from the government has only fueled the fire of discontent. But as we've heard, President Tinubu will be addressing the nation tomorrow. This is a crucial moment for us as we wait to hear what he will say and whether his message will be favorable to us or not. This address could be a turning point, providing the transparency and communication that we have been demanding. It is an opportunity for the president to bridge the gap between government and the people, to acknowledge our concern and to outline concrete steps to address them. We all wait with bated breath to see if this will be the case. President Tinubu rise to the occasion and show that he understands the importance of communication in leadership. Will he offer solutions that reflect the needs and desire of the people? Only time will tell. Until then, I'll end this episode here. Kindly like, share, comment on this video. Your engagement helps us continue bringing important issues to light and foster a community of informed and active citizens. Don't forget to click on the notification icon to get recommendations for our future content. Stay tuned for more updates and in-depth discussion on these matters that affect us all. Thank you for watching, and let's hope for a better tomorrow together. Thank you very much for watching this episode. Please don't forget to like, comment and share, and stay tuned for our next video.